Welcome to another podcast by Lyfeproof. Platforms make young, opinions heard. Today, I'm joined with Belinda and Catharine, but I'm your host, Sammy. A little bit about myself. If you haven't heard of a podcast, I am 16, even though Belinda thought I was 24. Obviously, I've done a couple podcasts with Lyfeproof, and obviously we talk about many different issues within young people. So I'm joined by Belinda and Catharine today. Belinda, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Belinda. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the founder of BK Network, which we run events for young people, entrepreneurs, just supporting people with marketing. And I also do a bit of social media management. And that's kind of really me in a nutshell. Catharine?
Great stuff. Catharine?
Hi, my name is Catharine, and currently I'm an English literature and Italian student. I'm in my third year, and I'm also building a publication where I interview and write articles on inspiring Nigerian individuals, entrepreneurs. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell too.
Oh, that's great. So as you can see, these are much more clever than me. So, obviously, Belinda, you got your kind of organization. Tell us a bit more about it.
So BK Network was something I started earlier on this year because I just felt there wasn't much out there for entrepreneurs to network and to engage with each other. And as someone who started a business prior, I just didn't feel like there was support from, people our own age bringing us together. And I think it's just important to kind of bring young people together to support each other, mentally, physically, emotionally, and just, with your business as a whole. So I thought it was just really important to kind of do that. And then the pandemic came along, and it was just kind of, switching to, webinars. So I was doing webinars in which, it was allowing entrepreneurs to come together and to speak. And sometimes the webinars were going on for 3 hours because, it was just allowing people a space to talk about just anything that they were dealing with. So it was started off as being something very, professional. We're going to talk about personal branding. It ended up people talking about their mental health. So, mental health is something that's very important. And I think it's something that I now want to include in BK Network. So, yeah.
That's great. And Catharine?
Yes, so my main focus at the moment is basically building, it's called the effective time. So essentially what I do is, because I'm very interested in venture capital, basically I want to have my own fund, God willing, in the future, to invest in entrepreneurs, but mainly focused in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. God willing, we'll see how that goes. So my thing for me is really to source individuals within Nigeria that are actually making a change. And because I think there's not that much infrastructure, like the ease of doing business in Nigeria is not the same as in Europe and in the UK. And so for me, it's like, I feel it shows like there's more, like it's more impressive for people to actually like build things and create things and start businesses over there. For me, just obviously I'm a Nigerian as well, so for me it's like just hopefully like giving people a platform to like basically celebrate them, because I feel like Nigeria does have a negative image of like corruption, etc., all of that. And I just want to show like, Nigeria has highly talented, creative, innovative individuals who are making like big changes. So for me, that's essentially what the effective times is. And apart from that, I also like write poems to do with mental health and trauma. And because I also did a TEDx talk last year, which I did talk about mental health. I feel like as an African, as a Nigerian, I think it's something that mental health is something that is highly stigmatized. It's something that people don't really talk about. And so this is something that I really want to be more open about. So doing the TEDx was a big step for me. What else? Oh yeah, I'm also part of the e-nurture network. So I take part in like research studies as well with the Neckpin Foundation and e-nurture network, where basically advising on better treatments for mental health patients, because physical health is as important as mental health. So yeah, I feel like I'm a bit all over the place, but I
No,
don't
you're
really
doing great.
know what I'm doing until like I have to actually communicate what I do. It's been a while since I've had to explain myself, but yeah.
Now, obviously, when you're talking about, you obviously want Nigeria to have a bit of a better image. Do you think people like Anthony Joshua are putting it like Nigeria on the map, saying, "Look, we're not what the like maybe the media puts us as. We're hardworking individuals with the great ethics and morals."
I think for sure, obviously, but I think for me, it's like, even though I wasn't born there, it's something that I'm still learning. Like, I'm still trying to
Yeah,
connect to the Nigerian side. Obviously, he wasn't born. Obviously, he's a descendant, and so for me, it's like my focus is like the people who are actually like born there and are living there. I think that for me, I think they are the ones who can create a better narrative
yeah,
into what Nigeria is, and like creating a better perception of Nigeria. Obviously, every little helps in terms of like celebrities and social media influencers portraying a better image of Nigeria. But for me, I think it's important for the people who are actually living every day, like the struggles of every day, who have to go through traffic and who like are without lights for several days, and who are like worrying about school fees, and who are the market sellers. I feel those are the people who need to be seen more, because they are the ones who make Nigeria, as opposed to like Anthony Josh is like he lives in the UK, like even though he's like Nigerian, like it's not that fully integrated into what's like, obviously he knows what's going on there, but like he doesn't live there. So I feel like for me, I like to make that distinction of people who are actually in the dirt, who are actually living it day in, day out. But yeah.
I wanted to stick on talking to Catherine at a moment. Obviously, you talked about your TEDx talk. What was that experience like? How was that? Because that's so fascinating. Like, I think a lot of people look up like, wow, I wish I could do something like that. Yeah, round of applause. But how was it? What was the experience like? I just want to know.
It was, can I swear?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna try not to, because you're okay. I'm not gonna talk, but it was scary AF. Like, seriously, it was super challenging, because obviously I was sharing. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it.
I will 100% watch it.
Plug
Yeah,
yourself.
you should watch it. It's called the name of the talk was Our Parents' Generation Needs Therapy, and basically I was focusing on parent-child relationships within Nigerian households. Like, I don't know how it is. Well, I'm sure like Asian also have similar like experiences with mental health. Your parents don't. It's not really something that you talk about. Like, parents talk about something that's shoved underneath the carpet. And so for me, it was something I went through. Like, I attempted suicide. So for me, that was when I was 18 years old. And through all that experience, it just made me like hold resentment towards my parents and the way they handled things, and just the way I felt about like the whole situation. And it took a lot of reflection on my part to really understand like the effects it had on me, and like how the effects it had on them as well. So it took a lot of empathy, and I felt it was something that I really needs to be talked about, because I don't feel
100%.
Even though mental health is talked about, I feel within cultures like African, Asian, even like Eastern European, like I think there's still this huge stigma. There's this huge like, I don't know, like you have a house,
Yeah, nah, 100%.
you go to school, why are you crying? Like, why are you sad
Yeah.
for? So it's very
Like,
important. Very important for me to talk about
I
that.
think you see the stereotypes, like, you know, you get the stereotypes like, oh, the white kid, parents will always understand what they're going through, and it's like the Asian or the black kid, and it's like, oh, mom, not feeling too happy to go education now. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
happens though, and it isn't talked enough. And I think personally, part of the problem is people like the Asian community or the black community may be afraid to admit that we are getting beaten by mental illness, because they don't. It's not physical beating, so they're thinking. And obviously, we've got people struggling back home physically, and we're like, why should we complain? You know what I mean? But it is something to complain about, and not complain, but to fight against. I think anyway. I don't know how you guys feel. Belinda, do you want to have a word on that?
No, definitely. Like you were saying, it's, I think with the Asian and the black community, unless it's a physical, unless they see you physically suffering, it's not real. Mental thing, from our parents to our grandparents and stuff like that, mental health was something that wasn't talked about. Still with many of our parents, they don't talk about their feelings. So it's hard for them to then, sit down and talk to their children about their feelings. And I think our generation is probably one of the first generations to obviously acknowledge the fact that it's important to, speak to your children about mental health, and how much it would have kind of helped us to, our parents to speak to us about certain things or things that they'd gone through. Because our parents have all gone through probably a lot, just obviously in their childhood and whatever it is. And, if we had conversations with them about just the things they've gone through, it would have helped us a lot with the things that we were going through. Because even in the household, like, if you're going through something, you don't talk about it, you kind of just deal with it and get on with it. And no one on the outside needs to know. And that's not really a way to deal with things. So I think it's really important that as our generation, we learn how to speak about things and to have open conversations with, our children, just the people around us, and just even for our own sanity, not even for other people's, but just to have conversations with people. That's why you find a lot of people in our generation actually having therapy, because they acknowledge the fact that it's important to speak about how you feel, otherwise you suffer. So I think it's important that, we as parents one day, speak about things that are going on in our households that are happening to us, or just happen to us as a collective, to be honest.
You know what though? Obviously, yeah, it's within parents and household, but it's not just that. I don't think. I think schools, workplace. It's like if some, like, say a girl is going through a tough time, and it's like something minor, like, I don't know, she failed an exam, and then someone who's been through some shit, like their parent has passed away, they get undermined a lot. Like, oh, what? You failed an exam. I don't. This happened to me. This happened to me. Like, shut up. People deal with things differently. If that girl's upset because she failed an exam, let her be. Like, she's upset, and you can't just say, oh, my dad passed away, so you shouldn't be upset about that.
Exactly.
People deal with things differently. It takes longer for people to get over things.
Yeah.
So I think that's a bit of a problem. Like, people are scared to admit their problems because they're scared that someone with a bigger problem is going to be like, why are you complaining for? I don't know what you guys have to think about that. Any of you, like, experienced that? You know what I mean?
Catherine?
Because I don't think I have. Like, obviously, I think I went through a bit of a, my mental health was really low. Obviously, when my dad passed away almost 4 years ago. But obviously, I was a really touchy subject. So people was like, both my parents died, why are you complaining? But I think I put it on myself that, there are people so much worse. So, like, I need to rise up from this, you know what I mean? And not get down about it. And like Anthony Joshua has the famous quote where he's like, every time I think about giving up or stopping or stop trying, there's always someone in a hospital bed begging for a second chance at life.
You really like Anthony Joshua.
He's my inspiration, man. I love the guy.
Are you a boxer? Do you train?
Soon come.
Oh, so you do.
I'm not too bad. But yeah. So yeah, yeah, it's true though. Like, I do think that about myself. Like, if I get upset, I'm like, someone's got it worse than me. But for me, that helps. For other people, that's gonna bring them down. Cause like, why am I worrying so much then? And they're gonna start panicking. So like, do you like see that like within workplaces or just within people in general? Like, what is your experience been with it?
Just as with dealing with mental health and obviously it being taboo and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that you? Yeah. So when I was 17, my mom and my dad kind of separated, and I'd always kind of been, even though I was like very young, I was still always kind of the rock of the family. So I kind of never really spoke about it, or I kind of just went with how everyone wanted to deal with it, and it affected me in the fact that I was having panic attacks, and I didn't even know I'd never even heard of a panic attack in my life. So I was having it, but I didn't know what it was. because mental health wasn't a thing that was talked about. You know, I'd had problems with my skin when I was younger, and I did not know that coming home and closing the curtain so it was darker, so I didn't have to look at my skin, was called depression. So these things that I was going through, I didn't even know what they were until years later when I'm in my 20s, when, you know, mental health is now something that's more spoken of, that I was like, okay, 3, 4, 5 years ago, this is what I was actually going through. So I think it's important, you know, for people to actually understand what the symptoms, or, you know, what these things actually mean, because we go through so many stuff, but sometimes we don't even know what we're going through, so we don't know how to deal with them. So I kind of just had to get on with it because I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know that it was something bad that I was just going through. I just saw it as, this is day-to-day life.
Yeah, 100%.
I think
Yeah,
it's important that we understand.
yeah. I mean, I think I felt that with the same thing. I was stressed and I didn't know at the time. You don't think you're stressed. You keep pushing and grinding and ticking over day and day. It was only until like, probably not even that long, probably like 6 months ago, I was thinking, I was actually stressed. I lost a lot of hair. Like, I just had no hair there. Look, my hairs have gone grey. I'm 16. This shouldn't happen. I'm 16 and I had no hair. Like, I was losing hair when I was like 13, 14. It's because of stress. I didn't have no one to talk about it. I probably did. I was probably just too afraid to talk. I probably thought there was nothing wrong with me. I thought I was a big man. I just kept pushing and ticking over each day. But there's always someone that can help you out. And I think people need to know that opening up is such a big thing. Like us, like if we open up on this podcast now, you might not know who's listening thinking, shit, I went through that as well. I thought I was alone. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I think it's a great thing to talk about. Catherine, do you have any experience as well?
I think just as being being from a Nigerian household is what you were saying about other people invalidating your feelings or your experiences because they might have gone through maybe worse experiences. I think like growing up, I kind of just learned to. I find it hard, like still now, I find it hard to be open about I mean, I find it hard to be vulnerable, and hence why I write. I think that's like my kind of sanctuary. Like when I'm writing, I feel like that's when I have a voice. I think a lot of people like lack empathy to actually fully, like, I know people always talk about like checking in on people and just like checking in on your friends, your family, etc. But I think everyone has a emotional quota in terms of like how much they can handle of, like, you know, if someone's like telling you, oh, I'm depressed, I feel like shit, like I want to commit suicide, etc., like, and they're saying it regularly, there's going to take if you have someone who's telling you the same thing over and over again, and as much as a friend you can be to that person, there is going to be a time when that person is going to get tired of hearing the same thing. And I think that's what a lot of people who have mental health challenges deal with, of like feeling like a burden, or feeling like, you know, like thinking like you have everything around you, you have all the right opportunities, like you have an education, you have your health, you live in a country where you have all these privileges, like why are you not making the most of it? And everything's in your head, and some people just don't understand that. And I feel like for me, that's the things that I kind of struggled with, knowing that I have all the opportunities available to me, but I guess something in my brain, or just like the way I'm wired, and maybe I'm not making the best of my opportunities, and I don't feel I can relate with anyone about it, or I feel like they'll kind of minimize my feelings and feel like I'm just like being lazy, or just like, I don't know.
Or,
Sorry?
or like overreacting, or
Yeah,
not that
basically.
serious, or
Yeah, so, and that's the worst feeling like your feelings aren't important. Once I experience that, I'm like done. Like you won't hear me like try and open up anymore. Like, so yeah.
It's
hard to
horrible
take.
that suffer in silence and stuff. But I trying to go into another thing. I think men's mental health. There's certain like organizations, I think Mind and stuff that work with men's mental health is so like, it's our fault in a way that we don't come out, because we need to be like, we got men that are the providers of the family, they're the rock, they got to be the man in the house. I'm 16, but I have to take care of my mom. I've got to be the strong one here. I've got to be the man in the house. Our mental health issues it's so hard to talk about, because it feels like, cool, I've got to go home, I've got this responsibility, that responsibility. I don't even get time to think about my mental health. And I'm sure obviously girls go through a hell of a lot and it's awful, but men's mental health is something that I think is worrying. I think the suicide numbers are mental and it's outrageous.
For men, I believe. I think it's 3 times more for men.
What, the suicide rate?
Suicide, yeah.
That's horrible. That is just shocking. And I think it urging men to come out. Like, so you have so many like road men these days. Oh, look at me, I'm trying to shoot. They're weak inside, some of them. Well, a lot of them, I guarantee they are. They can't face their home problems, so they go out in the street, but they're broken inside. Just talk about your problems. I urge anyone that's listening, talk about your problems, because a problem shared is a problem halved, and trust me, you'll feel that pressure off your chest, and just get it out there. Someone can always help you, man.
Do you honestly believe that? Do you honestly practice that?
Practice what?
Talking about your problems.
Mate, if I get someone on the phone call, I feel sorry for them. Everything comes off my chest. Like, alhamdulillah, thank God I've been in a good position mentally. I've been great so far. But when times are tough, I used to have someone on the phone ranting to them. And it helped though. That's the thing, it's genuinely helped. But I know lads that I seen day in, day out of school, and I'm such an idiot to think now that, oh, they were clearly going through something. Why didn't I help? They weren't speaking about it, but I know they was going through something. Imagine they spoke about it and I could have helped them. And imagine what place they could have been in now.
Really,
you know what I mean? True. And especially with some of your friends, it's heartbreaking. And I'm hearing it, and then you finally get them to open up, and it's heartbreaking. I'm like, you've been holding this in for so long. Why did I not notice earlier? There's so many simple signs that, well, it's not simple. It's actually quite difficult for people to just see. I think, like, just many different signs. Even to yourself, Belinda, you said you had the curtain shut, you were just in the dark. That's a sign, but you didn't know. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? How many signs are there? I want to talk. What are the signs?
But that question, what are the signs? It depends. You know, when you see a vast change in your emotions, you know, I loved to dance. Like, dancing was my favorite thing from like when I was in primary school. It was always something I enjoyed doing, even into secondary school. Then when I got to year 10, I stopped doing it. I wasn't as happy. I wasn't as bubbly as I used to be. And when you see that change, it's understanding yourself and, you know, being self-aware of, okay, this is who I am. This is who I normally am. And when you start to see more changes in who you are, you know, the way you do things and stuff like that, and it's not having a positive impact, that's when you need to step back and say, okay, what are these signs telling me? And, you know, we have this beautiful thing called Google now. Google is your best friend, you know. Sometimes they might diagnose you wrong, but...
Yeah, Google's pronounced me dead about 10 times already. You know what I mean?
But it helps, you know. It can, if you see there's so many symptoms of this certain thing, you know, you can speak to someone about it. You can go to your doctor and say, you know, I'm having these particular symptoms, because I always had trouble, you know, with my breathing, and I would go to doctors and I'd be like, I can't breathe. And for years they were saying nothing is wrong with you. Like, you're breathing, everything's fine. We're taking your blood pressure. Took them little things. And then one day a doctor turned around to me, I think this was in 2018. He turned around to me and says, have you ever thought it's something to do with mental health? And I was like, no, why would it be something to do with mental health? I just can't breathe. Like, and he was like, no, like, we should do a test, you know, if there's someone you want to speak to about stuff, is there things that you haven't spoke about, you know, is there things that's really sitting there? And then it went back to my mum and my dad separating. That was the first thing that came to my head, because I'd never dealt with it. And then, like, you know, just really being busy all the time. And I think people our age, we put so much pressure on ourselves to do so much things that it affects our mental health and it affects our physical health. And I think it's just about being self-aware, to be honest, understanding, you know, yourself, your body, and when there's changes happening to your mental that, you know, are very different. So being self-aware, I would say.
Yeah, 100%. I think one of my, like, I guess symptoms was I was such an angry little, I don't even want to say the word. I think I feel sorry for my mates at the time. I was just so angry all the time. and a couple of the lads have stuck with me, and I'm so grateful for them. They will never understand. And another one was like the hair thing. Why did I not think that was something to do? Why did I just think I was losing hair, mate? I was 12, 13 years old. Why did I not think? So there's many little things. And another one, I was in school at the time, and I felt I was trying to concentrate. Look, I'm looking at the teacher and I trying to listen, and nothing's going through my brain. It's just a blank page. I'm like, this is horrible. But anything. What about you, Catherine?
In terms of when I knew I had mental health.
Yeah. Like, what symptoms did you feel like you had and stuff?
I feel like for me it's a bit weird because I'm a highly sensitive person. Have you heard of the term HSPs? It's just basically people who are highly sensitive, like everything they feel it very deeply.
It just gets to them.
I'm always 24/7 in my feelings, and I've always been like that, like since I was a child. So I feel like, I guess I was prone to like have like mental health like struggles, because just like I find it hard up until now to like really separate my feelings from certain situations, which can really make me react very strongly. So I think it's just when I know like something's is getting to me, I just retreat into myself. I don't want to talk to anyone. I already most of the time don't really talk to anyone, but like I mean like totally like just not talk to anyone. I just want to deal with it my own way. I'll just be in my room and just like not talk. For me, it's like that's the main thing, like since I was a child, just like not talking when I'm dealing with something, just because I felt like I couldn't talk. If I talk, I wouldn't be taken seriously, so there was no point to talk. So I'd rather just like keep it all inside. And yes, that's the main thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? As a kid, I was so sensitive. If someone said something to me, I'd go hide and cry. But now I feel like I'm stronger than ever, and I just gotta thank God, really. So yeah, I changed over time, and obviously dealing with my dad passing away and certain other like, you know, bad things happening, I've just strengthened me along the way, and I've just kind of got you like, you know, feeling a bit better now. But I trying to ask another question, yeah, just a quick one, yes or no answer. Are you like happy with your mental health right now? Are you guys feeling good? I know it's quite a tough question, but are you guys like okay, genuinely? Like,
no.
No. Okay, fair enough.
No.
What about you, Belinda?
I would say yes. But during the pandemic, at the start, definitely no. But now I feel, you know, I'm in a place where I'm kind of happy with my mental health. But that's where I said, you know, it's important to be self-aware, because we're forever changing and forever evolving. And I think it's about understanding and sometimes adapting to the situations you're in. Because like I said, at the start of COVID, like I'm 50-50 on introvert, extrovert. So I love to be outside, be around people, but there's also a part of me that likes to be by myself. And the part of me where I needed to be outside, be around people, I feed off people's energies, like not in a bad way, but I love to be around people and to help people. And I really couldn't do that. And it was not just affecting like my mental health, it was affecting my physical health. You know, I was coming out with these spots that I'd never seen in my life. You know, my skin was playing up, but I wasn't really in a place where I just felt happy. But I just kind of learned to adapt over time. And, you know, now that we can kind of go outside and do more stuff, I think I'm in a place where I'm more, you know, happy, but it's being self-aware of, you know, when things change. But yeah, I would say I'm in a great place now.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think I'm quite in a good place now, alhamdulillah. Like it's all been going good. But I think I was at the start of the pandemic, it was horrible. It's like, oh yeah, I was just living my life, having fun. No, you're not. You're locked indoors for like how many months? I don't even know. Obviously, that was horrible. And yeah, there was times where it was getting tough. But this leads me on to my next question. We've all dealt with mental health, which I think I'm still going through it, but not bad. Like, I'll have days where I'm just like, what am I like? It's horrible. I feel like just like I'm an overthinker, so I would just think everything bad that can happen is going to happen. And I'm not afraid to admit that. And yeah, I have massive bad days. Sometimes it'll be like a few in a row, and I know that's nothing compared to some, but it's horrible. But this leads me on to my next question. How have you ever got over something to do with the mental health? Like my stress, I can tell you now. Obviously, I'm from Birmingham. The Villa Stadium is literally, I can see it from the end of my road. Yeah, Mom was like, "Go, you need to go get a season ticket. Go to the games." That helped me so much because I was in a stadium with 40,000 people who weren't thinking about anything in the world apart from the football game in front of them. I became one of those people, and it's helped me ever since. And I still go, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Like just going, and I was just happy the whole time. The 90 minutes you're there, it's a buzz, and even the whole day before that, it's gonna be a good day. Win, lose, or draw, you're going to a place you love, and it was great. And it got me over that. And then pandemic started. It's like I can't go to games no more. That's been horrible. It still is. I still like hate it. Like I can't go. I'm just here. I should be there. But obviously, that's when I started going to the gym. Or at the start of the pandemic, I was training at home, just doing home workouts. That helped me a lot. Exercise, I think, is such a big thing to help people get over mental health. But it's just overseeing people are too lazy, and I've fallen victim to that laziness. But when you break out of that, trust me, there's no better feeling. Sorry, what do you say, Belinda?
I was going to say, we've all been lazy during this time, but like you were saying with the football, it's a form of escapism.
I was going to say, what's your escapes? Yeah.
Mine is working. Like
really? Keeping the mind active.
Yeah, exactly. It's a form of distraction as well. Yeah. So it's like when the pandemic started, obviously I'm not working anymore, so you're having to deal with everything. So it's like things that from years ago that I never thought of, I'm having to deal with now because my mind is thinking 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I think, finding a form of escapism isn't always the best, but it's a start. And I think self-love, during the pandemic, I really started taking care of myself, putting myself first. I have a whole skincare regime now. I'm exercising basically every day now, which I wasn't doing before the pandemic, but now I make sure that every day I'm going out for a walk. I'm taking care, I have my whole skincare regime, I'm doing that. I'm taking care of myself first before anything, because when you take care of yourself, it affects and helps your mental health so much more. So I think, taking care of myself.
Yeah. Just to stick on it about the thing about thinking 24/7, my God, did I feel that. Obviously, I love my boxing and stuff, and I have dreams to become professional one day and, fight at the highest level. And there was times like during the start of the pandemic, I'd go to sleep before I'd watch a boxing match, and like you see the crowd buzzing and they keep you awake all night. It's like, I want that so bad, and you just can't fall asleep. I turn over, I'm going to try and sleep now. Nah, you're awake, flip over the other side. It's horrible. But Catherine, what have your escapes been like? Like, what is your escape or escapes?
I would say painting. I like to paint, even though I haven't painted in a while because I've just been quite busy. But painting is the one thing that I found where I'm not judging myself whether I'm good enough for what I'm just painting whatever I'm feeling. So yeah, I would say painting.
Yeah, and obviously I know another thing of yours was writing music. So do you want to talk about that? Music and stuff.
Wait, how did you told him, Belinda?
You said it yourself.
Exactly, Catherine. I didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything. I said I wrote poetry.
Did she mention that she writes music?
You wrote poetry.
I write poetry. Okay, when I was 10 years old, I wanted to be a lyricist.
Baby Catherine.
Sorry?
I said baby Catherine, the lyricist.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes, I did. When I still kind of do have dreams of like being a lyricist. Wait, what's the question? Sorry.
What's your form of escape?
Yeah. Was that? Yeah. So I wouldn't say writing is escape for me, because I'm writing, a lot of what I write about is what I'm observing about the world and what I'm feeling inside or past experiences. So I wouldn't say it's an escapism. It's more of like a cathartic experience. I'm just like releasing a lot of shit inside me, because
I think that is like a release in a way because you're just
Yeah,
letting it out.
but I'm not like I'm not escaping it because I'm reliving it in order for me to like write about it. So the fact that I have to relive it, I can't escape it. Yeah. So
Do you know when you're like reliving stuff, writing it down, do you feel a bit angry inside? I know I do. If I'm recording something that's pissed me off in the past and writing it's just like infuriating. Do you feel that?
Sometimes, but most of the time I kind of I tend to actually record myself. Like if I can't be bothered, like write, like journal, I just like record myself what I'm feeling. And for me, it tends to like kind of like calm me down actually, because it feels like I'm talking to someone, because a lot of the time I don't feel like I can talk to someone. So I talk to myself, like I just record myself on my phone, and I find it calms me down.
Okay, that's great. I could not do that. I think I dashed the phone and like
Really?
everything. I think everything in the room would just start levitating, spinning around me. It wouldn't go well.
Oh wow.
To be honest. But yeah, does it happen that any artist or certain music or just a song may have an impact on your mental health? I think so. I think I don't listen to sad songs. I can't. I think that would just why would I do that? It'd just bring me lower. But if I'm listening to like 6ix9ine going mental, I am going to be pumped. I don't know what he's saying, but I'm happy. You know what I mean?
Belinda.
So Belinda, talk about how do you feel about that?
I tend not to listen to sad songs, love songs. What's that, drill music?
Oh no, I can't.
I don't really listen to music from now, but I tend to listen to a genre called soca. Have you heard soca? This type of genre will just keep you happy and upbeat all the time. There's really like no swearing in it. There's no like cursing in it or anything like that. But it keeps you upbeat. It keeps you going. Like Catharine, what we know about soca as well. Like it can be very motivational as well. So I kind of like to listen to that, or it's kind of like old school 90s, which obviously takes you back to childhood. And I like things that remind me of times, good times. So 90s music does that, and then the soca is kind of happy music. So I don't like to listen to love songs or sad songs or.
Yeah, the 90s music is so good, but I like the hip hop and like rap side of it. Like, if you go from a place just Tupac, Biggie Smalls, everyone's just on there, and it's just like I love that music, man. I think the lyrics meant so much more back then as well. Have you listened to Tupac? Some of the things you talk about. Do you think D Block Europe could ever do something like that? No chance. They're shit. I hate them. I don't hate them. I think they're alright, but come on, man. They're just not good, are they? Realistically.
They
must be good if they're making they're selling music.
It's alright, but have you heard the lyrics? Have you heard the lyrics? It's just shit. They're talking about the same thing: girls, drugs, and money. Tupac spoke about everything, world problems, maybe even drugs, girls, and money as well. But he done it in such a good way.
Yeah, it was real. It wasn't just, fantasizing a lifestyle, but it was Tupac's song, Brenda's Got a Baby, it's singing about women and drugs and all that other stuff, but it's real. It's what's happening.
His song, Dear Mama. Man's writing a song for his mom. Imagine anyone, these duo artists doing that. They would never. I think that's why Tupac's at the top. I think he's the best ever because he could write a song about his mom and then the next time talk about drugs, girls and money, and it'll be bangers. Both of them will be bangers. And I think, he was amazing. But you know what? Another thing is getting younger people into music. And I know I've got a couple of mates that are good artists, solid, really good. And I'm like, whoa, you guys have so much talent, so much potential. If I had that talent, do you think I'd be sitting on this podcast right now? I'll be singing in front of, I don't care who, I would. I'd just be doing it. I think singing and dancing is such a big thing. What do you think is a main motivator in children to do well and stuff?
I work in schools with young people who are seen to have behavioral problems and stuff like that. And I can literally tell you the main reason they want money. They want billions of dollars, not dollars, sorry, billions of pounds, that's what they say. But I think even when I was younger, I wanted lots of money, I wanted to be a millionaire, I wanted to be this. But I think now that I'm getting older, as long as I can live comfortably and enjoy things in my life, I can travel and do all that kind of stuff, I'm happy. And obviously, like I say, being able to support your family and stuff like that, I'm happy. I don't need to be a millionaire to do that. But I think young people, I think, you know, what they're seeing on social media, what they see with all these artists, music, etc., is a flashy life. And in order to have a flashy life, you have to have a lot of money. So I think younger people are driven by money and wanting to work for themselves. And if you work for yourself, you get a lot of money. And I think that's why, you know, entrepreneurship is such a big thing now, because people think if you work for yourself, you get a lot of money, but it's a hard grind. It's a hard,
Yeah.
hard grind.
And that's what people are afraid to do. They talk like, oh, I want this, I want that. I'm like, go get it then. Are you working? No, you're not. You're sitting there fucking munching Doritos on your sofa. You want the billions, go earn it, man. Stop being a lazy, I don't want to swear too much, but like, you know, that's the thing. They all talk like, I've been victim of this. Like previously I've been talking like, yeah, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve this. And then everyone around me is like, yeah, you can. No one's telling me how to do it. And it takes just a look in the mirror like, I've actually got to do something about this. Like go work, go put in the hours, because what you put in, you'll get out. I'm a big believer in that. Like what you put in, you'll get out. So it's all about effort. And I think entrepreneurship is such a big thing, because how much things could you go into, man? There's so many endless opportunities with that. Businesses go from literally everything that you can cover, anything. Like if you like football, go into the business side of football, or just do something to do with football. If you like, I don't know, what's boring? Mechanics, go into mechanics. Like go open your own garage, do stuff like. There's so many possibilities. I think it's something kids should really look into, and you know, push like the entrepreneur kind of stuff, because you can literally, it's the world's your oyster and you just do what you want, really. I think, but obviously it takes a lot of sacrifice, work, determination, a lot of things. So what do you guys think? Obviously I know you got your own organization. What strengths has that taken? Like what things have you had to overcome to get that?
What things have I had to overcome? I don't even know how to answer that question. What things have I had to
Okay,
overcome?
let me ask another question. What skills have you had to possess or to like build?
Like I was saying, before I started BK Network, I had a shisha business, me and Catherine. We had an electric shisha business, and you know, we was 22 when we started it. And we'd had no experience in the field or whatever. We just saw that this was something we wanted to do and we enjoyed doing. And you know, you have to gain a lot of skills, you know, confidence, you know, speaking to various people, you know, just how to engage with different types of people as well. But you know, you have to wear so many different caps. And from our first business, you know, it's really who you have around you. And I would even say that to young people as well. Like, you know, from a young age, you know, don't just have people around you that are just there to be there, or, you know, they just like something that you do or whatever. Just really look at the people you have around you for the things that you want to do, who you want to be in life, even for your mental health. Because like you were saying previously, that, you know, if you have people around you who are saying, I think Catherine said it as well, and you, that are belittling your problems or making them not seem as important as they are, you need to look at the people you have around you. So business taught me that, and from a young age, always look at the people you have around you.
Yeah, I think that's such a big thing. Honestly, going to school, college, workplace, just surrounded by people constantly. It's just a thing we have to deal with. And I think I've said like on my social media, I don't think I have real friends, because as long as I want myself to succeed, I want to see people succeed too. And it's like there's people, so many people, the immature mindset of like, they just expect things to come to them, but they ain't willing to put in the work. It's like, why would I want you around me to make me more lazy? No, I was like, that's what our real friends. Where are the winners? I want to see the winners. I want to see the grafters. They ain't there. You know what I mean? So it's just one of them things, like, you know, you have to graft, man, to be successful. And like, I think you guys would understand that. So Catherine, what do you think, like, influence of people around, like, people, like, does that, like, what's the word? Affect their mental health, like, levels and stuff, or their success rate?
Like the influence around people succeed. I think most definitely everyone needs an engine behind them. And so if the engine that is behind you is basically like negative, and people are just trying to like the people aren't on your level, or not on your level, but just the people aren't really they don't understand the vision of what you're trying to achieve. And to be honest, from my experience, a lot of people won't understand the vision, and it's really hard to find people who understand your vision.
Yeah.
And
Oh
even
my God.
and
100%.
I'm saying, like, your parents might not understand your vision, your family, your friends, your closest friends might not understand your vision. And so it's like, it's really, really hard. And this is something I'm still learning how to navigate through, that, like having the right engine behind me. Because I feel like, and that's the misconception that I feel a lot of young people have nowadays, is the idea of being self-made. And we live in a very hyper individualistic society where a lot of people just believe that they don't need people around them. They can just do it. Like, there's only so much you can do as a human being by yourself. Everyone needs a support system. Everyone needs that infrastructure, that emotional infrastructure around them, to tell them, like, when they are down, when they feel like shit, when they feel like, oh, they can't get more customers, or maybe like they're not getting as many opportunities as they want to, or maybe they're not, you know, they don't have enough money. Like, everyone needs that emotional infrastructure. And I feel like people kind of downplay that a lot, and I don't understand why. And that's what, when you was talking about what young people, you were saying what motivates young people nowadays. I do feel like, even though I do agree it's money, but I feel like the essence of it, as human beings, it's stability. Like, we all want a sense of stability, and stability can come in form of financially, but I feel like the most important is family. I'm very passionate about talking about family, and family might not be the people who birthed you, the people who share the same DNA as you, but just your chosen family, the people who you feel like you can align yourself with. And I feel like, as I say, like, this society where it make, like, a lot of people just kind of exist in a vacuum, or think they exist in a vacuum, where, like, they don't really, they feel like they can do it by themselves. Like, I think that's highly delusional. Like, everyone, oh, sorry, can you hear me? Sorry, Chris Lowe. Like, everyone needs that support.
100%.
And so for me, it's like stability is and stability with, like, the people around you, because money is like currency, but then currency right now is fiat. So it's like, the inflation can just make it worthless, to be honest. And then it's like, who do you have around you? So yeah, I think the main thing should be, like, auditing the people you have around you constantly. I feel like I haven't really answered the question, but I'm just gonna say,
No, you know what? Do you know at the start you said people won't understand what you're doing, especially when you go down like a career of boxing or sport. I wake up at a ridiculous time of morning and go to like sleep ridiculously early. I get people always ask me, why are you awake? Why did you go sleep so early? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? I think people always question your methods, but when your success shows, they'll understand why you did it. You know what I mean? It's like, you know,
it's
you
super
always
lonely. I
What you
think
say?
it's lonely. Whenever you're trying to do anything, it's super lonely. When you're trying to do anything that people don't understand.
I think, do you know, coming from a sports mindset of, like, obviously boxing so lonely, it's just you and another guy punching the shit out of each other. It's a lonely sport. And I think that gives me a bit of a rush, like, oh, I'm awake while everyone else is sleeping. Let me go do something. Let me go work out what I'm working out while you're sleeping. All right, cool. We'll see who wins in the boxing match then, because you were sleeping while I was out training. While I was running, you were chilling. You might have been having breakfast if you're lucky. You know what I mean? I was out working. So I think that motivates me, seeing everyone else asleep while I'm up at a crack of door running on the roads or in the gym, just like doing my best. And I think that gives me a bit of a boost, to be honest. And we haven't got much time left. And I don't know if you guys watched the other podcast. I like to have some light-hearted questions at the end, but then obviously end on a bit more of a serious note. But since we've got not a lot of time left, you know, I'm gonna just ask Belinda, 5 years time, where do you see yourself?
Oh, question.
It's one of them ones, you know, it's a thinker.
This question, Excuse me over all the time. Where do I see myself in 5 years? Probably doing a lot more within the UK in supporting young people. You know, the events that I started doing at the start of the year on a bigger scale. You know, speaking at events, just really supporting the young people and really just shaping the future of how, you know, things happen within the UK and just, you know, this question and just really kind of, I don't know, like just really supporting the young people because and aren't taught to us. You know, like I said, I currently work in schools with young people, you know, just helping them with different things, teaching them resilience. But I think it's important that, you know, now it's time to take it to the next step and really support young people in things that aren't taught in school. You know, we spoke so much about entrepreneurship, and I think it's important that from a young age, entrepreneurship, mental health, career advisory, all that kind of stuff is really, you know, supported and given the support to young people. So I think it's really, you know, having an impact on the young people within the UK within the next 5 years. So, and traveling. I love
traveling. Everyone wants to travel. You know how it is. But yeah, no, it sounds great, man. It's very like ambitious, and that's what we like to see. You know what I mean? People pushing it and going. Because, you know, what's the point of setting yourself a challenge that you know you can achieve, light work? You want to be pushing yourself. It's a bit more fun. Catherine, what about yourself?
Personally, I don't really, like, I have things in mind, but things are liable to change at all times. So, obviously, I want to be heavily involved in the tech startup ecosystem within Nigeria and within Europe, but that's as far as I'd go. Like, obviously, God willing, we'll see where God places me.
I think I'm still young. I'm obviously 16. In 5 years' time, I'll be 21. So to Belinda, I look about 34. And I'm not letting you go off that one. I'm very upset about it. But I think for myself, 5 years' time, it's like, obviously finish college, I'm doing accountancy, just get that boring shit over and done with, and then push
learn
on
your
for the
cash flows, Sammy.
Oh, sorry,
learn your cash flows, learn profit and losses, learn your assets.
You know what?
And liabilities.
I done business in secondary school, so hopefully I'll be alright.
I wish I knew. Well, more of it anyways, but please learn it. I
will, man. I'll do my best for you. I'll do my best. Every time I'm slacking, I'll be like, what would Catherine want me to do?
Yes.
And I'll push.
You don't want people cheating you out your boxing money. Like, you don't want your manager taking more than he should be, or all your bloody endorsements.
Got out of the brain.
You need to learn the basics of accounting.
I think that's one of the most important things, is when you're doing something, it's to understand all the little different parts, even if you're not an expert in it, but to understand, like Catherine just says, you know, you want to be a boxer, you don't want to get cheated of how much you're getting paid when the next man's getting paid $1 million and you're getting paid £1,000.
I'm not having $1 million to a grand. Are you mad?
No,
I'll be fuming.
I'll
be fuming.
And we might need you one day to do accountancy, because
you know what? Imagine I do come across and like, yeah, I can help. That'll be great, man. And you know, it's just little things like that, just helping the people around you. I think, yeah, great, I can help so many people, like working with Lyfeproof. I'm 16, I have so much potential in this like mental health stuff. I can go into many different avenues. I can help loads of people, but helping the people around me will always feel amazing. Putting a smile on my mom's face is like the best feeling in the world. You forget about everything else, and it's just one of those heartwarming moments. But let me talk about myself, yeah? 5 years time, okay, 21. I think I'm targeting the Paris Olympics. That's the goal now. 5 years time, Paris Olympics. Yeah, that is a dream. And, you know, I think 5 years time, I'll be pro by then in boxing. I've always had this plan of, if I don't make it into the Paris Olympics, I'll go pro. If I make it, cool, I'll go pro after the event. And I think that's just one thing I want to push on now. 5 years time, 10 years. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I think I know what I'm planning on. But yeah, so is there any advice, like, you guys obviously
by the way, I really like your energy. Like, I feel like you're really gonna go far in life. Like, I feel like the way you just like present yourself, like, you're very articulate, and just like you just have this energy in you. Like, I'm a sensitive person, so I feel like I just feel like you come across very well, and I can see like there's a big light in you. So yeah,
Catherine.
definitely
That's why I didn't think you were 16, because, you know, like Catherine was saying, you know, she's very sensitive to energy, and just, you know, people's auras and stuff like that. And I felt like, you know, you didn't have the mindset or the, you know, the thing of just a 16-year-old. That's why I started with 18. I said, you know, always people want you to go younger.
Be safe.
But then that's what I mean. So you already have kind of the mindset of someone who's older than you. You know, just the way you articulate yourself, the way you carry yourself. I think, you know, you will go places, and I think, you know, a lot of people will take to you, because you just have a really excited energy.
You don't need to stop, man.
True though. Like, I love giving compliments, but I wouldn't give it if I didn't believe.
No,
like,
I appreciate that, man.
You carried
Seriously.
this whole thing yourself, so well, kind of like we kind of carried it too, but like, you know.
Like, you guys are amazing, man. And thank you. Like, I appreciate them words so much. Like, the little things that you guys say would just push me. Like, if I'm struggling, I'm like, nah, man, these that said I was something special, go push some more, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But nah, seriously, I appreciate that, and I'm just thankful to be around blessed people now. So yeah. But anyway, I think it's been a good podcast. I think I'd love to do a part 2. You two are amazing. So Belinda, Catherine, thank you very much for coming on. Is there anything you want to say to people my age or the younger, the youth? What advice would you give them?
Take care of yourself. Put yourself first before anyone else. You know, taking care of yourself, and, you know, if you really have something you want to start now, imagine where you'll be when you're my age. If you're 16 now, imagine where you'll be in 8 years if you do and you stick to the things you really want to do. But take care of yourself first.
Catherine, anything else?
Yeah, I'll probably say, like, experiment as much as you can. Like, do as much as, I mean, like, in a more positive way. I'm not like, you know, but I mean, like, put yourself out there. Don't be scared to put yourself out there. Like, if you're 16, 17, 18, like, there's so much life in you. Like, even if you make mistakes, like, you still have time to do do-overs. Don't be scared. Well, obviously it's a natural feeling to be scared, but, like, put yourself out there as much as you can.
Oh no.
You are, or like the intention behind what you're doing.
Yeah, you just have nothing to lose at the age of 16. You have no 100%. Liabilities. You have nothing really to pay for.
You're still learning. You're still growing and learning. Exactly. You're 16. You're so young. Even you lot at 24, 25 are so young still.
I feel old. I feel like
but you lot are extremely young when you think about it, you know.
I feel old. I mean, I don't feel
like,
young. Even though I'm young at heart.
You know what? I think there's definitely room for a part 2, and I will hopefully get in contact. But I just want to say, girls, thank you very much. I also want to thank Lyfeproof for, you know, allowing me to host again. I love it, man. I love doing this stuff.
You've been a wonderful host, Sammy.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Anyway, my name's Sammy. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. See you later.